Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ask Grit. I think we are at number 51. And today we have a special guest, BRIEN from Frasers Property. How are you, Adam?
Great, thanks, Naveen. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. As I was talking to you before, we have been having this for the past 50 weeks, which is quite a long time, almost a year. The whole purpose was to add value to our clients, discussing about the common questions so that they can listen to it and pick up some golden nuggets. So I thought of bringing on someone like you, an industry expert. It's a very interesting time in the property investment industry. So I thought of discussing some of the hot topics right now so that we can get your views and we can discuss and see how we can add value to our clients. So the big talk of the town right now, Adam, is about interest rates. I mean, the media is saying the sky is going to fall down, whereas the reality is quite different. We were at 0.1% cash rate, which is cannot get lower than that. And I mean, it's not going to be a big deal even if it goes up to 1.5 or 2%, because people in Australia has been paying 7%, 8% for some time, and probably more sometime in 1990s. But what are your thoughts and what are your views on this, Adam?
Yeah, Naveen, as you say, it's very much an interesting time in the market whenever you get that sentiment of interest rate increases. I think it's always interesting, particularly with the media, the way it's presented. I mean, the first thing is, as you know, last year alone, we saw property prices jump up by around that 24, 25% nationally. And then all of a sudden, as the market cools and there's that talk of potential stabilisation, either holding prices or maybe even if prices do drop a couple of percent, I think the media probably quickly forgets the exceptional growth that we've had. And, some pockets of Melbourne, you might be looking at over 35% growth over the last 12 to 18 months in your property. So I guess there's that part of it. And then as always with interest rates, that's not going to be a negative to every segment of the market. So, some of the media and some of the information I've been reading is the positives for people like first home buyers that were getting pushed out of the market because of price increases and because of competition. So we'll start seeing them have an opportunity to get back in the market with prices consolidating. And then you've got that investment side of it, Naveen, where you've got the self-funded retirees and that part of the market, where all of a sudden they're starting to see more growth in their investment and access to more funds that they can then invest in property. So, as always, we're looking at the positive side and that those segments of the market that can do quite well.
Absolutely, 100%. Another question a lot of people are asking is, with the interest rates rises coming in, is the market going to come down or is it going to stagnate? Now, with the interest rate rises, as we were discussing before, one cannot expect, we have had not a single interest rate rise for the past 10 years or 11 years. I mean, nobody can expect that to go on forever. Interest rates has to rise, especially with inflation, and that's part of the game. But what do you think will happen to the property prices, Adam?
Look, if we focus probably on our market and my market, which is Melbourne and Victoria, it's really interesting because, yes, you've got that pressure of interest rate rises that will affect certain markets, but you've also got the fact that during that period of COVID that we've been through, that we've seen, a lot of people leaving Victoria that are now starting to come back into the state. And then you've got that combination also of the overseas market, that student market that Melbourne are very reliant on as well, and that part of that overseas market coming back again into the state, which again increases demand for property in general. So I think that will be an interesting factor that perhaps lessens that impact of the interest rates increases because of that natural demand. And I think the other thing too, Naveen, is we are seeing, particularly for investors looking to get back in the market, we are seeing now quite substantial growth in returns for our investors, where that, again, that rebound effect for rentals, not only are we seeing vacancy rates really come back to almost zero, but the fact that those rentals are getting back up to almost pre-COVID levels now, and you're starting to get some really decent returns out of property again, which is brilliant for our investors.
Absolutely, especially talking about the property investment market, which is our space. I mean, what most people don't realize, they are only thinking short term. As a property investor, you've got to be thinking long term, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And when you think long term, these little things which happens in the first year, second year, third year are going to be very, very minute when you think long term, because you can never go wrong in property investment as long as you're thinking long term.
Yeah, agree with that. Yep.
I mean, as a national developer of Frasers property, you guys develop all over Australia. And do you foresee, because of COVID, there's China lockdowns happening in terms of supplies, there can be issues. Do you foresee any issues in terms of construction or development in the next 1 to 2 years?
Yeah, I think it's a real interesting one that we have seen that have certainly some effect, particularly with that house and land market that we deal in. I guess one part of it is that construction of our land projects and delivery of our land estates. At this stage, we haven't seen any issue there in us delivering settlements and land titles in a timely manner across our projects. From the building side and the construction side, with various builders throughout not only Victoria but across Australia, then there is a lot of pressure in that space. So we're really mindful of who we work with and who we're using in that space, Naveen. And I think again, you know, in today's market, there's lots of opportunity for not only us but potential purchasers and investors to do plenty of research in that space to look at, okay, who's the builder, how long have they been in the industry, what sort of volumes do they do, and do that research and due diligence in who they're dealing with. Same with our company, with Frasers, researching what we've delivered in the past and our success rate, our years in the industry, etc., to give, I guess, clients confidence in what they're looking at investing in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, talking about Frasers, all our clients are delighted with all your products. It can be a land estate, it can be apartment. Everyone loves it. So that's hats off to you guys. The next question is about apartments, Adam. With a lot of investors have this thing on their mindset that apartments are a bad investment. The actual fact is not all apartments are bad investments. There are good apartment investments if it's close to a university or it's close to a shopping center, or especially in the inner city within 15-20 kilometer for 15-20 minute radius. Those are fantastic investments. I mean, I feel there needs to be a mindset shift on those. Have you come across such instances, and what are your thoughts again in the long-term perspective? What is the investor sentiment for your products for apartments?
Yeah, Naveen, that's a great question, and our, you know, as you know, most of what we sell is off plan. So we've got a couple of what we believe are really well located apartment developments in the inner city. I'm actually at one at the moment at our Carlton project, and I'm at our display. We've got our Burwood project as well. And really, I think there's probably a combination of things there in that question, but one of them I'm finding lately is affordability. You know, in an area like Carlton, for example, Navin, you know, your average price for a home is about 1.3 million. So for those investors that have got that sort of money, terrific. You've got some options there with a terrace home, etc. But that apartment space, you know, gives people that option as an investor to buy in a really blue chip, solid performing area like an inner city suburb of Carlton or Burwood, where you're close to universities, like you said, cafes, restaurants. And I think what we've learned out of COVID is that lifestyle opportunity that people want to be living near. So can I walk to the local shops, the schools, entertainment venues, these type of things? And generally in a city has all that. So, you know, there's certainly been, I read an article recently from John McGrath, one of the real estate experts in Australia. And similar to those lines, he was really sort of honing in on inner city apartments in particular and suggesting, look at affordability at the moment. You know, we've seen that big increase in the house and land space, where, you know, some of our house and land packages now where you're 40 kilometres out of Melbourne, you might be paying upwards of 900,000 for house and land. Yeah. So again, when looking at options and returns on your investment, I certainly think the inner city apartment precincts and apartments in general are well worth investigating. And probably one of the good things with Frasers is because we're quite diverse, we have lots of variety for our clients. We can offer the inner city apartments. We can offer house and land if that's a preference. So we don't sort of say to people, you must buy an apartment or you must buy house and land. I think those options will be a personal choice for that investor and what works for that investor, what appeals to that investor. But certainly the outlook for the inner city apartment market seems to be quite positive.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. The next question is around supplies. I know for a fact that especially due to China lockdown and being Western Australia being locked away from rest of us, they're having a lot of challenges in the supplies. And to building a house, you're looking at 12 to 18 month time, which is unheard of in Victoria. With the projects and the experience you have with Frasers, do you foresee any supplies issues in the next 6 to 18 months?
Yeah, look, we perhaps may be in a slightly lucky position in regard to particularly our land, Navin, where we do have a lot of clients, particularly those that have bought in the last 6 months. A lot of our land titles won't be till early to mid next year, you know, almost 12 months from land titles. So it is a bit of a crystal ball one where, you know, are we going to have the same shortages and restrictions in another 12 months when these people are starting to settle land and then looking to start that construction process? Look, maybe. I think that's a tricky one to answer. But a lot of our clients aren't really in the market to be starting construction now in our land projects.
Right.
So I think it will be an interesting space to watch. But like I mentioned earlier, I think then it'll be critical from several aspects for purchasers. One, to be really thorough in finance. And I know with yourself, Navin, and your clients and with our clients as well, we want to ensure they've got a really good understanding, and we certainly direct them to pre-approvals and do their research with their finance so that they've got that affordability question answered before they sign up for a house and land deal or a land deal with us. And then if there are some changes or some increases that they've allowed for that before they've invested or purchased from us.
No, you're right. I mean, we have been living in a unpredictable world last 2 years, and it looks like it'll be the same for the next 6 to 12 months too. Yeah, we got to be adaptable. We got to be able to change to the circumstances like what we have been doing. Entire world has been doing for the past 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
The next question is about future plans of Frasers for the next 12 to 24 months. Are you guys going to focus again on inner city blue chip locations for apartments as well as land development? Is that the same focus, or has the focus changed to something else?
Look, the feedback we're getting from our acquisitions team, and look, we've been lucky enough to secure a couple of what we feel are definitely key sites in Melbourne.
Right.
We've got a site that we secured in Yarraville that we will be looking to take to the market, if it's not the end of this year, at some stage in 2023. That's going to be a really exciting project, Navin, for us, because similar to our Burwood Brickworks project that a number of your clients have bought within, and we still have some limited opportunities in Burwood, that has really set the benchmark for our company. It's been an award-winning project, not only through the property industry and the Property Council of Australia. We've achieved a list of awards for that project. And that's the type of project that we're looking to continue with Yarraville and another site we've also secured in Maidstone. And what they are is these master plan communities that we can offer our clients, again, a fantastic lifestyle proposition that we feel a lot of the market are chasing at the moment, which is that living within walking distance to, your shops, residence lounge, health club, having that mix of lifestyle choices of living in an apartment, townhouse, a home, that sort of thing. And, these are quite significant sites that will have an opportunity, and we're talking delivering 800 to 1,000 plus new homes in these communities. And really, they've been, Burwood's been a fantastic master plan community to work on. And I think you'll agree, Navin, to see the finished product. The clients have just been ecstatic in moving into that community, which, as I said, just offers, ticks all those boxes in terms of that lifestyle, that amenity that people are really looking for. So we're going to have an opportunity to deliver that in some really key projects. And I'm sure we'll be working with you on those when they come up in the near future.
That's awesome. 100% agreed. Burwood Brickworks is absolutely awesome. I mean, it's been a landmark location in Burwood right now. There's nothing like it. And I don't think there will be anything like it.
No.
That's awesome. Last question, Adam. With the borders opening up around February, can't remember, January, February, do you see a lot of overseas investors or students coming in as tenants? Do you see a lot of sentiment from the overseas investors, or still the local buyers market is still strong?
Look, for us, and again, we've just got the two key sort of apartment projects at the moment. But in talking about those, we have had some success late last year with overseas investors. And I know a lot of those were looking at that longer term position of, okay, in the next 12, 18 months, 2 years, one of our family members will be looking to move to Melbourne for study purposes or for work purposes. So sometimes that time frame is a little bit longer than we might think for our overseas investors to be buying. I would still suggest, so that's taking a bit of time to recover that overseas market. We're slowly seeing some appetite and inquiry increase for that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't suggest that it's really rapidly increased, particularly over the last few months. It's still been a little bit restricted. I don't know all the details, but I know, that still particularly out of China, there's a number of restrictions still in place that is still making it a little bit tricky for investors and for the people of China to invest. But there is talk that those restrictions by the government, etc., will be lifted later this year. So again, I think that's a sort of watch this space with the overseas market, and it'll be again one of those interesting markets to see where we land in another 6 or 12 months. Be really interesting.
Yep. True. All right. We typically keep it short and sweet, about 20 minutes. Thank you so much for joining in, Adam. Hopefully, all of you got some value out of it, and that's what we do. If you want to learn more, we do a number of webinars, number of property investment workshops. In fact, we have something next week in the Western suburbs. Have a look at our social media pages, register for them. Again, it's all about property investment education so that you are educated to do what you need to do. Until we see you next week, have a great weekend ahead and see you next week.
Thanks, Naveen. See you guys. Bye-bye.